I would do that and I didn't know what to write.
Guys, the test is over. All right. Okay. Right, let's have a look here, please. Okay, we'll go. We'll be tired. We've got 23 minutes in a little break, then we'll have back another 10 minutes. Okay.
Stop.
Okay, someone time 23 minutes.
Okay.
Actually, make it please.
Okay. 30 minutes. So set the timer for 20 minutes starting now. See? Okay, just take notes. Okay. Yeah, here we go.
Okay. All right. Okay, so yesterday, right, thank you. Thank you. So yesterday we had a look at absolute value equations. Okay. And remember our strategy when you have it equal to a number, you've got to get the absolute value on its own. If it's a positive number, it's either going to be what's inside is going to be, in this case will be 2, or that case will be -2, right? Okay, in this case, what's inside the absolute value, there are various ways you could do that one. Okay, but in general, your concept is what's inside the absolute value, okay, is whatever's inside the absolute value, in this case would be 16, will be -16. You with me? Be careful though when you have a negative constant outside. If you've got a negative constant outside, what do we know? No solution. Right. Okay. But if that was negative x, as you'll see just now, okay, negative x could be a positive or a negative number. Okay. All right. So we worked with constants. That was the first type. Okay. So the first type, okay, in type 1, this thing over here was a positive constant. But now we're going to have an absolute value with x inside the absolute value. And we're going to have g of x just means an expression with x in. Okay, so we're going to have x inside the absolute value, you know, for variables inside and outside the absolute value. Our strategy though is going to be exactly the same. Okay, either g of x will be f of x, or f of x will be g of x, or f of x will be negative g of x. Okay, we're going to do exactly the same way. The only difference is this, really. Hey, just give me a second. Okay, the only difference is this. Okay, is that you have to, in this case, when there's an x outside the absolute value, we have to go back and sum into the original equation to check that your answer actually does work. Because this can lead to incorrect solutions. Okay, so highlight that last point over there. Okay, you must check your solutions, both can be valid. Okay. In the previous, definitely write that down. That was for the previous type. In the previous type, K was a positive constant. Okay. 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 Divide your long list.
Very good. I'm excited for next week.
Next week, no test. We go. Okay. All right. So let's have a look. Okay. So as thank you. As with Kate yesterday, what's your first step going to be? Get the absolute value on its own. Okay. So Masana, how are we going to get absolute value on its own here?
You can take the -2x plus and it's positive 2.
Lovely. Now, just like with a number, what do we say? What's inside, this could be what? Could be positive 2x, it could be negative 2x. So that's the value of negative 2x is positive 2x. Okay? Right. So just also make a note of that. Absolute value of negative x is the same thing of the variable as the absolute value of x. Okay, but anyway. So yeah, x minus 2 is going to be equal to 2x, or what, guys? Okay, or x minus 2, x, that could be 2x. Or that could be negative 2x, because the absolute value of negative 2x is the same thing as the absolute value of 2x. So, or x minus 2 is equal to. Right, go solve both of them separately. So you should get negative 2 and 2 over 3, am I right? Okay. Is everyone okay with that? Okay, so now, with variables outside, you've got to sub that into the original and see if the answer actually works. So, if I put negative 2 into here, what's the right-hand side going to be? You don't have to write this down. It'll be negative 4, right? I immediately know that's wrong. Why? Because the absolute value of something cannot be a negative constant, right? Because if you put negative 2 into the left-hand side, what you're actually going to get? What does the left-hand side work out to be if I sum in x is negative 2? If I sum in x is equal to negative 2 into here, what do you get?
Negative 4.
No. What's the whole of the left-hand side? It's 4. Why? Because minus 2 minus 4 is negative 4, but the absolute value of negative 4 is 4, right? So if I sub negative 2 back into this, the right-hand side is negative 4, and the left-hand side is 4. What's the job of an equation when you solve an equation? It's a value that will make that equation balanced, right?
Yeah.
Does negative 2 make that equation balanced? No. Okay. So this solution is not valid. So sometimes both of your solutions are going to be valid. Sometimes one solution will be valid. Sometimes no solution will be valid. Okay. Does 2 over 3 work? Well, what's the right-hand side going to be? 2 times 2 over 3, which is 4 over 3. So if this is the correct answer, what should the left-hand side now be? Okay. Should be 4 over 3. And it's equal to 2 over 3 minus 2. You don't have to show this working, which is 2 over 3 minus 6 over 3, which is negative 4 over 3. And what's the absolute value of negative 4 over 3? Does this one work?
Yeah.
Fish. So she's got to be the only type, and really that's the only difference between the method for you. In both cases, it's going to be the positive or the negative. When there's an x outside the absolute value, that's the only time you have to go check whether your answers are valid. Fish? Right, try B.
Oh.
And we'll go back from the tricks. Write a math test after lunch. That's sucks. Last double on a Friday. Or last day. So that's how you're going to start it, right? Either they're the same or it's the opposite side. Good. So either 2x plus 3 must be equal to x minus 5, or 2x plus 3 must be equal to negative x minus 5. If you made this negative 2x plus 3 is equal to x minus 5, this would be the same thing. Okay. Right, so now I'm going to solve both of those separately, and then what do you have to go do? X is outside the absolute value, so you have to go check Okay, that doesn't work. Next.
So it's not equal to -8 because you get the.
Right, just wait. Take people Okay, so you get -8 and show the three solutions. Okay, now go figure out whether both of them are valid, neither are valid, or just one of them is valid. Check with your neighbor. Right, Nina, does -8 work?
No, because you put them in your X company.
Exactly, okay. So if you do sub in, though, and you want to check, yeah, you get your left-hand side would be, you do it at this point in the equation if you want to, or you can do it over here, it doesn't really matter. Okay, I usually do it once I've got the absolute value on its own. So the left-hand side would be what? -16 plus 3. Or did you do the original one? Probably better to stick to the original. If I did, what would be the left-hand side if I sub back into the original? Okay, it would be -16 plus 3, which is -13. What's the absolute value of -13? 13. What's 13 plus 5? 18. But the right-hand side is -8. So does this one work? No. Does 2/3 work?
Yes.
Well, the right-hand sides would just be 2/3 because that's just x. But the left-hand side, as I say, you don't have to show this working, but if you want to write it down, you can. The left-hand side would be 2 times 2/3 plus 3, okay, plus 5, right? Which is 4/3 plus 3, which is 13/3. All right. 13/3 plus 5 is 13/3 plus 15/3. It's not going to work, is it? Okay. The left-hand side is 2 times 2/3 plus 3. Am I right? Which is 4/3 plus 3. 4/3 plus 3 is 4/3 plus 9/3, which is 13/3 plus 5, which is equal to 28/3. They're not equal. Okay. 2/3 doesn't work. But neither of them work in that case.
So you're also.
So you can just put lines through them, that's fine.
Okay.
Once you can add no solution, but as long as you put it can't be equal to through both of them, okay, then we're good to go. Finish?
Yes.
Right, try C.
It's negative value on the other side.
Get negative constant. So that's what I was trying to show you here. Can we just say no solution to this one over here? With this C, can I say no solution? Why am I coming at it? It's not a negative constant. If x was -5, then the right hand side would be a positive number. Do you agree? This would be -5. So here, we're going to have to go work it out using our method. Because this, we're not sure if it's positive or negative. We don't know. Okay, but this we know for sure it's what? The negative constant. Is that possible? Can I absolute value spit out a negative constant? No. Okay, so immediately for D, I would say no solution because it's a negative constant. But a negative variable, remember, doesn't mean that that's variable. Negative x isn't necessarily a negative number. Because if x was -5, negative x would be Okay, if x was equal to negative 5, negative x would be negative 5, which is 5. So be careful of that. Negative x isn't a negative number. It's the opposite sign of x. The variable, the negative, doesn't mean the negative. It's the opposite sign of the original. Okay, so for C, you're going to have to go work it out using your method. But for D, there's going to be no solution. How many minutes to go? It's been a long week. 5 minutes break.
10 seconds.
Okay, right.
Should just say one.
So let's try now. We work on sneak out. Yes.
I don't know who said that.
Okay, right. Go to C.
That's like my favorite.
Okay, so we need to get this weird situation here. If you end up with an equation like, are you happy that x minus 2 is negative x? Or x minus 2 must be x, right? I saw the left-hand side, I get 2x is 2 and x is 1. Does 1 work, first of all? If I go sub in 1, what do you get? You get 1 minus 2, which is negative 1. What's the absolute value of negative 1? And the right-hand side is? That doesn't work. Okay. And here, we get a nonsense situation. Okay, is naught equal to 2? No, it is nonsense. It is cup. Right. It leads to a nonsense situation. If an equation leads to a nonsense situation, okay, leads to an incorrect solution, there's no solution there. Tell me what's the story here. If I had ended up with an equation where I had x minus 2 is equal to x minus 2, or whatever, x minus 4. No. Let's say that x minus 2 is x minus 2. So you get naught is equal to naught. What would I say then? Means it doesn't matter what x is, it's going to be true, right? Because naught is always equal to naught. X could be a billion. Okay, so if you get two numbers that are the same, usually naught is equal to naught. That means x could be any real numbers. X is an element of reals. But if you end up with this situation, okay, two constants that are naught is equal to 2, which is nonsense, okay, then there's no solution. So for this whole equation, there's no solution. Okay. All right. Last one. Okay, is an E on this page? No. Right. Okay. Right. Okay, so NB, I made a note from the previous page that f of x is a negative constant, then there's going to be no solution. Right, try E and then we'll have a break. I really don't care if you run to the sector with the breaks, all right? Okay. Just go down the back way and then it's quick. And I'll always start in 5 minutes to be here for you if you're not. I know the touch of you is a nightmare. 2 times the absolute value of x minus 1 is equal to x plus 15. Okay, so a bit annoying this question probably. You're going to end up with fractions. So I would end. Okay. Right. The first thing I would do is divide by 2, right? So I get x, absolute value of x minus 1 is x plus 15 over 2.
Fun.
So
What did you get? One of the x equals 17. Yeah, that works. How?
okay.
No, because the something you have to get the absolute value of it. But how did you get it on? It's only if you can divide that side by 2. I did that, but it's nice in that. Yeah, because remember you have to do that.
No, we used to that.
Right. So that's how it started.
Thank you. Like,
Okay.
really?
Are you not at what? Yes.
And then working out to say.
Yeah, you could. Okay. You could times out by 2 in this case, because 2 is the same thing as the absolute value of 2. Okay, and the absolute value of AB is equal to absolute value of AB. So you could times 2 in. Okay. But you couldn't times negative 2 in. Okay. You couldn't times negative 2 in, but you could times a positive constant in.
Yeah.
So
Oh, so.
if you expect to remember that, that's fine.
That's just
Okay.
this one.
So, right, now what? If you're solving the left-hand side, what would you do next? How are you doing that 2 at the bottom?
Time by 2.
Times by 2, right? So go from there.
Just on the side as well.
Okay, hang on, let me come down. Right, so finish that. Right, so go finish up the left-hand side and check if that solution is valid.
You buffets.
I don't think that's right.
It's the negative. Then it becomes negative, right? And then you-
The same answer.
So that question.
Wow.
Where you did the right answer and then you crossed it out. In your test.
Yes, third house.
So let's take it through.
Right, so on the left-hand side, you should have got x is 17. Check if that's valid.
Yep.
It's valid.
So the left-hand side would be 2 times 16, which is 32. And the right-hand side would be 32. So 17 works, right? Okay, because the left-hand side would be 32. I sub back into the original. The left-hand side would be 2 times 16, which is 32. The right-hand side would be 17 plus 15, which is 32. Right. The next one, guys. So let's just have a look here. If you ever get a situation. Well, you could go distribute that negative into the top line. Okay, it wouldn't be wrong. Personally, I would divide both sides by -1. Okay, and if I divide both sides by -1, what does this side come? Negative x plus 1 is equal to x plus 15 over 2.
Either way works, right?
Either way it works. Now go to times by 2 and solve for x and check if the solution is valid.
So weird. If it does, then it doesn't break this stuff. I don't think I did you want to do this. You want to break the box.
So guys, you should get -13 over 3. Okay. Check, hey, thank you. A minute. Right, you should get -13 over 3, right? Okay, so go check if that works. Okay. Well, on the left-hand side, you're going to get, use your calculator if you want. You're going to get 2 times the absolute value of -13 over 3. What does that give you? Does it work? Okay, apparently it works. Okay, but just check it. If I get the calculator out. Okay, okay. So if I was working this left-hand side out on the calculator, this is what I would do. I'd go -13 over 3 minus 1 equals, what do you get, Bianca? -16 over 3, but it's an absolute value, right? Okay, so it must be positive 16 over 3. So then you're going to go 2 times 16 over 3 is going to be 32 over 3, right? Okay, so the left-hand side is 32 over 3. And the right-hand side, well, just enter -13 over 3 plus 15. See what you get. -13 over 3 plus 15 is?
32 over 3.
Okay, so is it working?
Yes.
Okay. 500.
Generous from.
Yeah, but I'm on the table of my calculators and other side.
I think that's.
I'm looking at you, my.
Ah.
Uh, uh, uh. She took one.
Oh God.
I'm going home with my calculator.
Yeah. Can you pass me your phone so I can calculate the prices of everyone? Your phone.
Calculators, that's what we.
No, but I want to see the price while I'm calculating.
Yeah. You put it in a calculator and you get your price. Don't know when you get an iPhone device. Back in the day, no, they didn't have iPhone
Matana, where did you send the prices of everything?
online. So you go, you open on.
Let's go between notes and WhatsApp.
No. You need to then use the calculator.
Okay. Yo, Matana, you're such a problem sometimes. You know.
You need to learn how to read.
Now I have to write every single price down. Search actually talk to. What's my first?
Let me see.
Show us today. The H. Really, it's just like small stuff. Yeah. There was one way. It was other actually. What? So I have a type of label. It's on like a bit possibly. What if I still the two grades?
Yeah.
This one. Actually, you said it's Cinnabon is here.
Yeah, I changed it. Look at the message after.
You know why you change that so
Grace made it very responsible.
Yeah.
Grace is the one that suggested it. If Grace started on my step. No!
She give the ideas.
No, Grace
But if you
is
say
a
I'm
50% interest rate.
You could
Then that time also people shouted at me when I was there.
Okay, let's
Want to make sure she pays extra.
Join me. You're not even coming.
Like, just make it.
It's ice or?
Yeah, great.
Oh. Cake. Hey guys, get the Jesse Press music on.
The other one, did you say this one makes? We figured out what this one. I don't know. Give it to something else. That one's down.
That was the four. It's my press. Yes.
Oh.
Cover your Vogue. This is your cover your Vogue. Every term there's a new game everyone's obsessed with.
Yeah.
It changes. I don't like this. Pressure that goes on in the screen. It's not even right. You can't even not give. No, but pressure takes the grade. It's the screen. It's the beginning. Even in the library, they've always taken grade. Why customer? So have you ever played Jesse Press?
Jesuit praise. It's the Jesuit praise.
Do you think let's stop walking to the garage if I take it to the dog?
Okay, it's again.
Not even like a little solid thing.
Nothing.
Yeah, my dad's Candy Crush addict. Candy Crush is the best. I don't want 700 and something. You shouldn't be in. When I reach 1K, I'm going to be like, oh my. Oh, my dad's on like 1,000 and something. Oh, he loves Candy Crush. It's so fun. I'm waiting to know.
It's fine, please. Okay. Right, go try and do the next one. Nearly there. We've only got 12 minutes and then we're at lunch. Right, off we go. Try the next one.
Yeah, it's 2 hours. Yo, I thought this was our last lesson of the day. I went to this way and I thought.
What have we still got left?
It's
Oh, last double. Right.
no, like it feels like it's
Right, go try the next one. First of all, get the absolute value on its own. Right, come on. Right, iPad away, please. Stand away, money. Right, go try the next one. Let's get the absolute value on its own.
Let's change on that. I'm gonna be on. I don't like this. I said my friends. Then. Oh. Oh, good.
Why?
I got one make months. Yeah. I need to bring an accounts people. I don't think an accounts. We could make you accounts, right? What do you cooking into what's price on this? I'm I'm calculating how much people owe me. Oh, for like food and stuff. Yeah. Okay, one.
You get -1 in one of your answers?
Yes.
Check if it works.
I don't know. I feel like some of these people cook food without pay.
Yeah, I was also getting so stressed, man.
And then.
Did you get one as your other answer?
Yes. How much money does Hannah also pay?
Right, go check whether -1 or in one word means.
I'm thinking.
Me, we're gonna see 100. I do.
I got 6 and 5. I didn't get values in there. But sir, I was done.
Right, so -1 word, guys.
Okay.
Okay, if I sub in -1, you get 4 plus 2, which is 6. 6 divided by 2 is 3. And this side is also 3.
So.
So -1 works. Does 1 work? No, 1 can't work. Because 1 minus 2 is -1 on this side. And it's,
Oh, no.
so 1 can't work. Okay,
Is there like a button on the page for the?
absolute value. I think so. But only for constants. Let's see.
Yeah, has a good idea. You do it's shift high. Yo, today is so long, actually, look as I'm clocking it. This feels like it should be the last lesson of the day. It's a shift.
Yeah.
But I don't have the energy. Next slide. Next slide. Shift. Please sign.
All right.
Oh, nobody's so smart.
Okay, right. Try the next one. All right, top 3. Great. Okay. Okay, so this guy again, hey, right. So now, hey, right, come on. You've got everything inside absolute value. So all your x's are inside. There's nothing outside of the absolute value. Okay. You're going to use exactly the same method as you've done before. Okay. The only difference, highlight this, is you don't really check the solution. Okay. So what's the only time I have to check the solutions? When there is what? No.
When there's like extra outside.
When there's a variable outside the absolute value, you have to check.
Yeah.
If it's the constant outside, you don't have to check. And if it's two absolute values with everything inside, you don't have to check. Okay. Right, you left the bottom. That will always be correct. Okay. So
When there's a value or when there's a variable
when
outside.
there's a variable outside, you have to check, otherwise you don't have to check. Okay, all right. So we're getting there. We'll do A and B and then we're done. But the only one is what? In type 2, you have to check. Type 1 and type 2. Because how do we know it's type 2? When there's a variable outside the absolute value, that's a type 2. So these values don't have to bother. Why? Because all the variables are inside the absolute value. Don't use that.
When you multiply out the values. Like with the last one with zero means like with the last one with no way you put.
Yeah, so you don't have to bother to check when they're inside absolute values. If it's a variable outside, you have to check. These ones, they'll always work. So you're just going to start like that once again. With me? And solve them separately, but you don't have to go bother and check. If any time I can check where there is a what?
There's a variable outside the absolute.
There you go.
That's oh, that's why there's such little exercises for that section. So I'm looking at my phone.
You got that? Did you get negative 4 over 3 and negative 2 over 7?
Well, I just use my brains, this one's probably wrong.
Hey.
That's what I use this to solve it.
No, so every time I use my brain, something goes wrong.
Yeah, well, you didn't get I got 6 over 5. And I was 6 over 5. I think I'm wrong though. I got 2 over 5. Yes. Same also got 2 over 5. And 0 equals maybe the extent of torches most of it. I got yeah. Did you get no solution for that one? Yeah. Wait, so do you both of them work? I've got.
Why did I say?
I've got.
If there's not a variable outside.
Oh, no, sorry, you don't have to separate. Alright, he came up to your book. My red was one. Thank you, Tyler. Now that they have. I still have maybe 4 plus 2x, right? Where are you getting 3?
Oh, use the
Oh, no, I used the wrong thing.
one of my calculators is full pilot or something.
What?
I left my calculator.
So you should have one answer is 2 over 5. Now the answer was negative 6, right?
Yes.
All right, so I'm happy that this has had a long week.
Thank you, sir.
Right, well done.
Thank you.
Okay.
Oh, thank you. You have 1 more seconds. Oh,
But there's another one saying put value while still coming.
oh.
Put value graphs. Everyone got this down? Can I? Okay.
Why were you great? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Let me just look at you guys.